I have an argument which I hope to explicate in my book. I don't know when it is going to come, but even by 1949 or 50, only after the entire party, there is a huge exodus in his party. 1949, following his marriage to Maniammai, the party splits, DMK is formed, all the leaders leave him. He is left practically alone. There is only one person with him, with this Kutusi Gurusamy, and even he was a kind of fence sitter. Anybody else would have been shattered. But Periyar takes up the challenge. He moves his headquarters from Chennai to Trichy, gives up the paper to Gurusamy to run, and he travels all over Tamil Nadu. Every nook and corner, every dirt track, he goes, he speaks to the people. And whom is he addressing? He is addressing the common people. He is talking to them late into the night. So he uses a language which is completely diametrically opposite to the kind of platform Tamil that we are familiar with. He talks to the people. It is a conversational style. It is a chatty style. And by this time, his health was also failing. He had a very bad hernia. So he would sit on the platform, very informally dressed in a lungi, ஒரு கை வச்ச பனியன், அதுக்கு மேலே an unbuttoned black shirt. He would speak for 3 hours. And he would express the most provocative ideas, but also he would share his wisdom. Every paragraph of his speech was bristled with idioms and proverbs which no folklorist has been able to collect in the last 100 years. So he could connect with the people. So he was a different man. He didn't seek the status of a tyagi. He said, I don't want to be a tyagi. Going to prison is actually rest for me. So I would prefer to, whenever I'm very tired, I would prefer to go and rest in the prison. So when people accused him of, backtracking, of developing cold feet, he said, yes, please be a brave man if you want. Yes, I am a coward, but I am a coward for my own ideals. I want to achieve the ideals that I have set out to achieve. I don't care about words of abuse.
Thank you. So you mentioned about Maniammai. So I wanted to ask a question. His marriage to Maniammai is a point of debate till today. It's either seen as a scandal or strategy. The book seeks to reposition Maniammai as an intellectual leader in her own right. Can you explain about it?
So anybody who is familiar with WhatsApp would know the calumny that is heaped on Maniammai. So, but I must say that the calumny heaped on Maniammai in 1949 and 50, the present day WhatsApp University calumny will not hold a candle to that. That was how abusive the political leaders and the critics of Periyar were at that time. So one of the big achievements of this book, I am proud of it, is that in the standard biographies or the received wisdom of Periyar, Nagammal plays a very important role. Nagammal, his wife, is an amazing woman. She is somebody who can match Periyar word for word. She could have her way with Periyar. She was the only person who could force Periyar to have a bath. That kind of a strong-willed woman she was. She took part in the Vaikam Satyagraha. She broke the barricades, went in, courted arrest. She was that kind of a man. And I think, she kept Periyar grounded. And rightly, she is celebrated in the biographies and the writings about the Dravidian movement. But in the case of Maniammai, I must also say that, we are all part of the same tradition. The received wisdom about Maniammai was not, very great. But now when you look at it closely, first, Maniammai was not a 15-year-old girl. 16-year-old girl, and Periyar was not a 50-year-old man. The parallel might be obvious. George Arundel was 50. Rukmini Devi was 16 when they got married. Nobody said that, an old man has, deceived a young woman and run away with that woman. We give Rukmini Devi credit. We don't cast aspersions on George Arundel. In this case of Maniammai, first and foremost, she came from a family, self-respect movement family. Her father was a second level leader in Vellore, so she was familiar with all the second line leaders. By 1944, she was publishing in Vidudalai and Kudiyarasu articles in her own name. She was talking about, for instance, her articles about Kanda Puranam are very sharp. From 1955, she becomes close to Periyar. And you know what gift Periyar gave to Maniammai? Anybody want to guess? The gift that Periyar gave to Maniammai in 1945 was this great encyclopedia of Tamil literature called Abhidhana Sindhamani. So Periyar's pickup line was, here is your Tamil encyclopedia of 1,200 pages. If that was the pickup line, you can make an assessment of what kind of woman Maniammai was. And then, when they decided to get married for whatever reason, despite the best advice of Rajagopalachari, he had a reason. They got married. It was a marriage between two consenting adults. Maniammai was 29 years old, educated, well-read, ideologically oriented. So, what is the problem? Bertrand Russell gets married 6 times, one of them in his 80s. Nobody casts aspersions on him. Okay, so this woman, Maniammai, she makes two very big major impact on Periyar's life. Periyar, after the death of Nagammai, practically for the next 15 years, there is practically nobody to support him. He is traveling all over. He is almost like Yasser Arafat. He doesn't sleep in the same bed twice. That is how widely he travels. There's nobody to give him a cup of coffee. This is not my words. This is the words of Manavai Thirumalai Chami, who knew him from the 1920s. After Maniammai comes into his life, there is some kind of an order. She travels with him all the time, ensures that his acolytes and admirers do not monopolize him, do not, feed him stuff which he should not be eating. And she is also intellectual companion. After Periyar took the podium, Maniammai would sit outside, spread out a newspaper and hawk the books that Periyar and others wrote. So here I want to give you one example of the kind of role that she played. When she got married to Periyar, Bharatidasan, the great poet, wrote a very strong, almost abusive poem about Maniammai. He said, மலம் மூடத்தான் மலர் பறித்தேன் என்றால் குளிர் மலர் சோலைதான் கோவென்றாடாதோ அப்படின்னு எழுதின அதே பாரதிதாசன் 1958 he says, if our leader, our தலைவர் is moving around despite having a catheterized tube and a urine bucket, we all owe it to this young woman. And later in her life, 1973, after Periyar dies, that is the 70s is a time of crisis for the Dravidar Kadagam. Already number of cases had been, prepared. Income tax files had been compiled in the 1960s so that the organization could be crippled in the 1970s. Within 2 years of Periyar's death, 1.5 years of Periyar's death, the emergency is declared. Who fights the state? Both Asriyar Veeramani and Maniammai, both of them are arrested. She sees through the organization and she dies in 1978. So I think Maniammai needs to get her due. If there is a book on Manalur Maniammai, there should also be a book on Velur Maniammai.
Thank you, Chalapathy. That was really very interesting.